The last time we had a Mitsubishi Xforce, Vince and Rowana checked out the top-of-the-line GT variant. Now we have the lower variant, which is called the GLS. What does it have to offer? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Jamil here from AutoIndustriya, and what I have for you right now is the GLS variant of the Mitsubishi Xforce that costs a little over 1.3 million pesos. Now, the Xforce is an important model for Mitsubishi Motors as it signals their return to the subcompact crossover class since the ASX. And size-wise, at a little less than 4.4 meters long, the Xforce comes as one of the bigger B-segment crossovers in its class. Now, in terms of the look, well, you really can't tell much of a difference between this and the top-of-the-line GT variant. Can you point me some? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, I wouldn't really blame you because the GLS variant looks exactly the same as the GT variant. The main difference is, of course, in here. You don't have this blocky pattern right here because the GLS variant does not have an ADAS, but you still have the store-shaped LED headlights, the stylish fog lights down below, as well as this trapezoidal grille that really reminds me a lot of the Lancer Evolution 10. Now, the side profile of the Mitsubishi Xforce in its GLS variant is also very much the same as the top-of-the-line GT. As you can see right here, it has wide fenders, you have the repeaters right over here, and you still have keyless entry even in this GLS variant. So, if you want to open it up, you can do it by the push of this button. Now, right over here is the thing that I like about the Xforce, the kink that makes it look like it has broad shoulders. So it makes the Xforce have an athletic stance. And right over here at the back, you have short overhangs, which really helps out a lot in stretching out the cabin of the Xforce, which we'll get to later on. Now, the back end of the Mitsubishi Xforce GLS looks exactly the same as the top-of-the-line GT variant. As you can see, no badges to indicate which variant it is. You have the Xforce right over here, the Mitsubishi badge in the middle, and you also have the stylish LED taillights that house the repeaters in here, the reverse lamp right over here, as well as these reflectors down below. But what I do like about the Xforce in general is the fact that they maximize the rear end so you can maximize your cargo space. Speaking of which, the Xforce GLS does not have a power tailgate, unlike the GT variant, but it also reveals, well, a pretty spacious cargo hold. In this configuration, we have about 31 inches from here to there. Width-wise, it's about 39.5 inches. So once you do remove this tonneau cover, it's pretty flimsy, but it does the job in, well, covering your precious cargo. When you remove this, similar actually to your window sunshade. So, in this configuration, you have about 29 inches of cargo height. But this one is expandable to around 33 inches once you put this cargo bed down below. Now, if you do need more space for your cargo, well, the second row seats, they fold in a 40, 20, and 40 split. So what does that mean? Well, you can actually do it in this configuration. So you have about, well, 54 inches of total cargo space. Now, there are also some well thought out features that the Xforce GLS has. Actually, it does have cargo hooks right over here that could hold up to 20 kilos of cargo. All variants of the Mitsubishi Xforce are powered by the same 1.5-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated Myvec engine that's also found in the Expander and the Expander Cross. This one is still front-wheel drive, but it's now paired to a continuously variable transmission compared to the Expander and the Expander Cross that has a 4-speed auto. So the impressions of that will be said when we are driving the Xforce, but now let's take a look at the engine bay of the Xforce. As you can see here, Mitsubishi, well, they did not really take shortcuts when it comes to engineering and building the Xforce. As you can see in here, the hood is fully painted, as well as the engine bay. There are a lot of plastics here. And they also took it a point to mount the intake high up, so that helps in water fording, gives you pretty good confidence when tackling floods. And while the intake is mounted high up, the engine is still mounted pretty low, so it gives you a good low sense of gravity, helps with the handling of the Mitsubishi Xforce. Now the Xforce GLS also has 4 driving modes: normal, mud, gravel, and wet mode, which we can configure on the inside. So let's check out the interior. The first thing you'll notice once you get inside the Xforce GLS, once you come from the GT variant, are these. Well, from the leather seats, it now comes with fabric seats, and they do also have this kind of gray denim pattern as the inserts on the seats here at the second row of the Xforce GLS. But in terms of space for the Xforce, it's pretty good actually for a B segment crossover. As you can see right here, for reference, I'm 5'9", and this is the space I have in front and even for the roof. Now the Xforce GLS, well, it also has a well thought out cabin. It's like Mitsubishi wants you to, well, maricondo your things. You have cup holders in here, you have back seat pockets in the upper portion, you also have a lower portion of the back seat pockets, and you also have additional cup holders in here in case you're just riding the Xforce as a 4-seater. What else can we see from the second row of the Xforce GLS? You also have the second row AC vents, which are pretty powerful actually, and you also have a Type-C and Type-A USB charging ports. But that's about it here at the second row. Let's move in front. It's really nice that Mitsubishi made it a point to design a dashboard that's fit for a B segment crossover with the Xforce compared to, the Expander and the Expander Cross where it was based from. So you do have the dual digital screens, and for this GLS variant, you have leather in here instead of the melange fabric on the GT variant, as well as a gray right over here. So it makes it more of a monochromatic interior here at the GLS variant compared to the top of the line GT. Now, the steering wheel itself, this one is pretty similar also to the Triton. So you do have the controls for the infotainment system, you have the volume functions, and you can also play around with the digital information display since it displays the driving range, the direction. Then you do have the Apple CarPlay. This one has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, for example. And in here, you also have plenty of displays to play around in this infotainment screen. Like for example, you have the adventurous display right over here, and it does really remind me of the analog altimeter, the tilt meter, the direction, the compass that was used in the previous versions of the Pajero. So this one is a pretty nice tribute to the Pajero. You also have this pretty cool thing called the avionics. Well, look at this. It's really pretty similar to once you come in an airplane cockpit. It monitors, the brake percentage, how hard you're braking, even the coolant, even how much fuel is being put in the injectors. So for a car geek, it's really, really interesting. And then you also have the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So my phone is connected to the screen right now. Now down below, even in this GLS variant, you still have a dual zone climate control system, and it also has the Nano X air filtration system. So it's really loaded in terms of features even in this GLS variant. But what you do lose out on is down below. Instead of a wireless charger, you only have a shelf in here to put in your phone. But you still have a Type-C and Type-A USB charging port. Now you do have the Prindle shifter right over here. The Sport button is right over here at the left. Then you do have the start-stop engine button, the switch for the drive modes. Again, let's go through that. You have normal, the wet, the gravel, and the mud, which alters, the AYC characteristics and even the traction control of the Mitsubishi Xforce. So you still have the electronic parking brake right over here with auto hold. You have 2 cup holders in here. You also have a cooling box right over here as your down below on the armrest, and of course plenty of shelves around. But really the experience in here is best enjoyed with the audio system on, and this, the Yamaha premium sound system. The main cause for concern that we've seen when we reviewed the Xforce GT is, well, the power of the 1.5-liter engine. So let's get right to it while we're driving the GLS variant of the Xforce. You see, I'm here in front while Zach is in the back, and we have two luggages at the cargo area of the Xforce GLS, and it seems pretty okay. I mean, you only have 105 horsepower and 141 Newton meters of torque at your disposal, but you know, for a car like this, it's alright. As long as you don't really load it up with, 5 passengers, then you're gonna feel that it's gonna struggle a bit more. I've attended the pre-launch drive of the Xforce, and now that I'm driving it with less passengers, it feels more sprightly. I mean, you're gonna reach highway speeds fairly quickly, though not as fast as for example, a turbocharged crossover. And the CVT, well, it keeps the RPMs down. It's really a nice improvement over the 4-speed auto of the Expander and the Expander Cross. That is definitely noticeable, even in the fuel economy. But what you'd really enjoy here in the Xforce, both in the GLS and the GT variants, is, well, the ride comfort. I mean, it's one of the more refined crossovers that I've ridden on, especially in the subcompact class. And that's what you'd expect with Mitsubishi. I mean, if you have ridden the Montero Sport or the Triton or even the Expander, it's easily one of the best riding vehicles in their respective classes. So Mitsubishi really put in a lot of effort in reducing the NVH. So it's really refined compared to other subcompact crossovers. They've used the rear suspension, the shock absorbers of the Montero Sport for the Xforce, and it does translate to a very good ride overall. We're here at NLEX. You're gonna hear a bit of the expansion joints, especially that we're here at the Candaba viaduct. But the Xforce keeps its composure. Other subcompact crossovers, they feel more like race hatchbacks. But this is proper crossover pretensions for the Xforce. You feel a bit more cushioning, it's a bit more quiet. Although you'll notice there's a bit of wind noise on the side mirrors, but that's about it. It remains quiet, and also probably because Yamaha helped them with the acoustics inside. So what do you lose for, a couple of 100,000 pesos against the GT? Well, for one, I really miss the ADAS function of the GT variant of the Xforce, especially now that I'm driving at the expressway. But that's about it. If you're not really too reliant on ADAS throughout your journeys, then you'd be just fine with the Xforce. Sure, you lose a few more nice features inside, such as the leather seats, but, well, in a tropical country like ours, you do just fine with the fabric of the Xforce GLS. For a couple of 100,000 less, yeah, the Xforce GLS is just fine. That said, let's talk about the price once we go back to the warehouse. Now, the Mitsubishi Xforce GLS retails for 1,367,000 pesos. So that's really a few 100,000 pesos less than the top-of-the-line GT variant. So what do you lose out on? Well, it's the leather seats, the ADAS functions, some of those fancy features that you would expect from a top-of-the-line vehicle. But what you don't lose out on is the effort that Mitsubishi has made to level up the refinement, the comfort, and the driving dynamics from a B-segment SUV. And that's what you would get with the Xforce GLS. But tell us what you think in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Jamil from AutoIndustriya.com. Thank you for watching.